accounting tech duties, and that neither of those two accounting positions have the available to add professional accountant duties to their workload. The city's payroll covers 400 plus employees biweekly and is processed, reported, and maintained by one payroll technician and one senior accountant. Processing a payroll of this magnitude necessitates 2 full-time positions at minimum. However, we propose that the second position should be a senior payroll technician, not a senior accountant. Staff recommends that council authorize the creation of the senior payroll technician position, approve the salary schedule and job description at a cost of $119,000 per year, inclusive of all benefits and roll-ups, of which an estimated $23,886 would be paid by the general fund per year. And doing this would allow us to free up the senior accountant position to work on senior accountant duties instead of payroll. The city's second accountant position, like the first, has also been tasked with accounting technician duties, including miscellaneous billing, cash receipting, and deposits, and therefore this position is also unavailable to take on professional accounting level tasks. While the cash receipting and deposits are necessary functions, we propose that they should be completed by an accounting technician and not housed with the accountant position. The city currently has 3 existing accounting tech positions to complete utility billing, accounts payable, and business licensing, but they do not have the bandwidth to accept any new tasks from the accountant series. For this reason, we recommend that the council authorize the addition of 1 accounting tech to assume all of the cash receipting, depositing, and miscellaneous billing responsibilities, which will, like the others, allow an additional accountant position to function at the professional accountant level. With one of the 3 accountant positions vacant and the other 2 working at the accounting tech level, the department has 0 accountants on hand available to perform professional accounting functions. In order for the finance department to resolve the city's accounting issues and to establish processes and procedures and maintain them, the city's accountants must be made available to complete GL reconciliations, maintain oversight of the subjournals, and other professional accounting responsibilities, which is why we're coming before you tonight for this urgent request. The finance department has also experienced difficulty in recruiting for the open financial analyst position in the budget division. While we believe the salary of the analyst series is competitive, the title and job description of financial analyst isn't accurate or appropriate for the budget division. After having completed an unsuccessful recruitment for the open position, we believe that introducing a new classification series of budget analyst in place of financial analyst is the best remedy in attracting qualified candidates with budget experience to the city. The new classification, as proposed, is equivalent to the financial analyst series, except that the title and job description duties are specific to the budget division. There are no requested changes to the salary schedules or FTEs, and we are proposing the budget analyst classification be split, similar to the accountant classification, into budget analyst 1, 2, and senior. Moving forward, the financial analyst series will be phased out of the budget division through attrition. And that change has a $0 financial impact. Do you have any questions?
David?
Yes.
Yes, I'll take
I do, thank you.
Okay.
So the question I have is, for the dollar amounts, is that just the base salary, or is that counting any taxes, insurance, all the other typical things for?
So it's an S-step of the fully burdened cost, including taxes and insurance and retirement. But however, with that said, I use the word estimated for 2 reasons. So one reason is that the city uses the New World system to make the salary budget calculations. And so in order to get your system's budgeted version, we need to roll that through with the mid-year adjustment. So we'll be bringing that back, and the numbers might be slightly different. The other reason why we're referring to it as an estimate is because we use general estimates when we're referring to employees. Various employees have different levels of benefits and costs associated with them, so there is some flexibility, but they are very close.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure it was inclusive of all those items.
Absolutely, all inclusive.
That's it.
Debbie? Gary?
Yes, thank you. So, there's a lot of moving parts here and
Right.
a lot of things going on. Would have been nice is actually a little org chart.
So we kind of have one. If you take a look at, believe is attachment 2. And if you let me know when you have that in front of you, it's not an org chart, but it does outline all of the positions within the department. And if you'd like, I can just kind of walk you through where the changes are here, if that would be helpful.
Sure.
Okay. So the first item where there's some changes, you see the senior accountant here, and what we're proposing is that we make it this salary schedule equivalent to the senior financial analyst, which is directly above it. And those have an equivalent or very similar experience and education requirement. However, as you can see, the financial analyst has a salary range that's much higher than the senior accountant. And so in order to make this marketable so that we can recruit, we just would like authority to change that salary schedule. And then hopefully that will allow us to hire a suitable candidate in that vacant position. And then the total estimated cost of that change is $27,000 a year, of which about $5,000 would be paid out of the general fund. And then moving on to the next item is the accountant 2. So the city actually doesn't have an accountant 2 position, and we're not suggesting that we fill the position at this time, but we've made changes to the staff report, or not the staff report. We've made changes to the job description to allow for a 2. So in the event that the city needed to underfill or overfill an existing FTE, that there would be an in-between classification for someone who has experience but maybe not governmental experience, because there's a big gap between an entry-level accountant and a senior accountant. So there's zero impact to that change, as we're not requesting to fill that position. Excuse me. Moving on to the accountant position, this is similar to what we reviewed with the senior accountant. You can see that it's directly below the financial analyst classification, which again, similar skills and education requirement, but this position's over $20,000, the salary schedule is over $20,000 below what should be an equivalent classification. And so we're asking for authority to make the accountant 1 position equivalent to the financial analyst position, with an estimated cost of about $36,000 a year, of which $7,000 would be paid out of the general fund. Another interesting point to note is the accountant 1 position, although ranks higher than the payroll tech position directly below it actually has a higher salary range than the accountant. So that's definitely something that we are also correcting. Moving on to the senior payroll technician, you can see that there is no current salary, and that's because this is a new position. And we're creating a new position, a new job description, a new salary range, which is based on a percentage above the payroll tech right below it. I believe it's 5% above that. That's a new FTE, and it comes in at $120,000 a year, and we're estimating just below $24,000 to be paid out of the general fund each year. And just to recap, adding that senior payroll technician allows the payroll duties to be completed by a payroll technician instead of a senior accountant, because what we would like the senior accountant to focus on is the accounting and the general ledger and your CAFR, and assisting in your preparation of your financial statements. And right now you don't have any accountants who are able to do that work. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
no, thank you, and I appreciate that, and, I really also appreciate the breakdowns next to them. That kind of shows where the money's coming from
Okay.
with all the different funds. And obviously, now the other question is on a lot of these positions that aren't filled right now, are we looking from within, or are we looking to go out?
They have been open recruitments on the outside.
All right.
I mean, we would be open to filling them if we had internal candidates. We haven't had any at this point that have presented themselves.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do we have employees that are qualified?
Four,
To move up in these positions?
we do not.
Okay, so that's why nobody's,
That's why we haven't filled it.
okay.
Yeah.
So we're going through the recruitment process now on some of these?
We've actually halted the recruitment process after having unsuccessful recruitments. We had conversations with HR and the city manager's office, and now we're before you, asking for authority to make some adjustments, and hopefully you will approve those, and we will open recruitments tomorrow.
Okay, so with these adjustments, we should start getting people applying.
That is our hope.
Their stuff is not getting done.
Right.
So I'm hoping some of that with these positions, there'll be somebody to fill those in when somebody's not on vacation or whatever.
So I completely agree, and making these changes will allow us to cross-train. One of our plans is to take each of our accountants and assign them to one of the accounting techs. So you would have an accountant who would oversee payroll and reconcile and be responsible for all of the general ledger accounts and the portions of the financial statements related to payroll. In the event that something happened to one of the payroll technicians, that accountant would then be capable of stepping in and processing the payroll. The same thing would be true with another accountant who would be delegated, for example, accounts payable, and they would learn accounts payable inside and out. They would be responsible for reviewing all of the general ledger entries and the accounts on the financial statements that correspond to that, and so on and so forth. So freeing up these accountants really allows for the department to have oversight, professional accounting responsibilities, as well as cross-training.
It's all yours.
I only had one question. As an example, the accountant one and the financial analyst are going to be paid the same?
That is what we're requesting.
Okay. Are they equally experienced, educated type positions or not?
So the education and experience in the job description is very similar. They are in a similar rank. I think that I'm not a compensation and classification expert, and in order to really answer your question, you'd have to have a comp and classification survey, which you may want to entertain at some point. But I think that bringing the accountant series up to at least the financial analyst equivalent is a good step and the best that we can ask for at this point without doing further data analysis and research.
Okay. Have you reviewed these adjustments for impaction between the positions?
Not entirely. There are a number of issues with the classifications and the salary ranges, not just in our department, but in other departments, and we're aware of them. We're being cautious in what we're bringing forward because we're not able at this time to analyze all of those potential inequities. And so we've only brought to you what we feel is urgent.
Okay.
But it's something that probably should be done in the future.
Yeah, so you're basically responding to the needs current
Yes,
needs.
only the current needs. And it's not addressing all of the city's issues. It's not even probably addressing all of the department's issues, but it is addressing the issues that are urgent to us right now.
Right now, okay. Miranda, do you know when the last salary classification study was done?
Yes, so that would have been in June of 2019. And however, there were issues with the way in which it was completed, and so it was never brought to council for adoption because there were major discrepancies within the report. And so if council were to move forward or be interested in doing a classification compensation study, I would recommend that we start from scratch. I think with our new HR director on board, we might even be able to do a large portion of it in-house. But that's something we can definitely look at. But the last one was done right before I was hired on, and there were a lot of issues with it.
Okay, and before then, when was the last one?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
There's nobody here that would know that because nobody's been here long enough. David? David?
I think it was in this century.
All right.
One done back in the 80s, early 90s. You were still here.
Yeah, I know it was a long time.
That was the last one?
Yeah, I don't know if you were on the...
There hasn't been anything since I've been here, and I've been here 12 years.
Wow.
I'd say it'd probably be early
So I can't
2000.
speak before 12 years, but nothing during.
So I don't know if you guys remember when we were in negotiations, that's when that one was done.
Yeah.
That Mr. Ogden brought it forward, but he had mentioned that there hadn't been one done for 2 decades.
Dave,
Wow.
do you remember? I wasn't listening. The last classification study? Is that like the early 2000s? Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah.
Wow. Well, is that something we can afford to do now?
If it's in-house.
At including in the mid-year budget, if that's something that council would like to see.
I think we need to do that. And it would be across the board, everything.
Across the board. It wouldn't be done in time for negotiations, so that would be something that would last longer than a couple of months. And I think that's part of the issue with what happened with the last class and comp study is that it was very rushed, and so it wasn't completed in a way that was valid.
Okay. Okay. All right. We need a motion and a second to adopt the resolution.
Motion approved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, city manager comments.
Okay, one kind of long comment and one short comment. So the first one is just about COVID. So today, San Joaquin County rolled backwards into the widespread or purple tier. It was part of the governor's emergency brake that they pulled in their plan to reopening the economy. They had a provision there that if it looked like our numbers were spiking, that they would roll everyone back a tier. And so we rolled back to widespread, not just because of the emergency brake, but over the past week, our adjusted case rate has gone from about 6.3 to 16.4. And so our numbers are definitely spiking. The most noticeable change will be to the small business community, many of whom will have to enforce stricter occupancy guidelines or need to close altogether. I can go through a few of those if you would like. However, we've talked about it as an EOC, and we've spoken to Chief Hardin, and we intend to work with local business owners. I mean, the governor wanted them to close down within 24 hours. We certainly don't expect them to move that quickly because it's rolling back. There's a lot of intricacies to that. So we're hoping to work with them, and those who do need to close, hopefully they'll be closed by the end of the week. Just to let everyone know, there is a decent probability that the state will, I know they've recommended that masks be worn at all times. They've recommended a 14-day quarantine for those who have been traveling out of state. The governor is now updating two times a week, and so on Friday he's going to be making another announcement. It sounds like that might be moving in the area of setting a curfew or making masks mandatory, and so we're just waiting for more updated information on Friday, but we have rolled back into the purple tier. And then the second thing, on a happier note, I just wanted to wish the council, the community, and staff a happy Thanksgiving, since we won't be getting together until after Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone gets to enjoy it in a safe, socially distanced, masked way. Thank you.
All right. Gary, any comments?
No, thank you. I do want to have, Panos is not here tonight, but there was a few issues that had come up with residents, and reached out, and he went and contacted them and corrected them, so I did want to give him a shout out. They were very happy with his responses, and so he's doing a great job. And then, yes, happy Thanksgiving, and socially distanced, masked, and I don't know, how many people can you have over? It can change.
No more than 3 families.
It can probably change on Friday again.
Debbie?
How many people are in each family?
Yeah.
That's the key. You have 3 families. Now, if you have 3 families and my sister's, all of her kids have like 3 and 4 and 5, 6 kids,
Yeah.
so.
You have 100 people there.
That's a lot of people, yeah. I have 2 grandkids, so I don't have that. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone and to all of you guys. You're always doing such a great job. And Stephanie, thank you for your presentation. That was very enlightening. And thank you guys for the heater, because it was freezing up here. And I hope you guys have a good thanks. Well, me and Ben were complaining first, so we got it. So. And thank you guys for everything you do. I appreciate you beyond measure. And we'll see you this week, because we're going to be doing at the fire station for the interchange. But thank you. And this is weird, because I really will only have like 1 more meeting, so 2 more meetings. So we can have one every other day. Yeah, okay, well, that's truly, I have to say this, being here for 12 years, that flew by. And when you're doing it in 4-year increments, I remember my grandson standing there, and he was starting high school. Now he's in college. And so it's crazy. So, but the upside of that, of not being on council, and I'm going to miss you guys, but the upside of that is that I get to rest more, and I need that. And I'm doing so much better. All that's healed up, the wound, everything. So now I have physical therapy for core strength. So that's good. And I don't have to come here on Tuesday nights. So it's really funny. My sister always would say, when are you going to come and stay at my house? Well, I have a meeting this week. Oh, but then next week we have closed session. We had something every week. Yeah. So now I'm looking forward to going and doing a bunch of stuff. If we can. I know I can't wait to get and hope that I get and we all get the vaccination, so that way all of us are safe. And especially the first responders first to get it and keep them safe. That's really important. And so then we all can go back to our life the way it is. But even though I'm not going to be here, I'm always going to be in this city, and I'm always going to be supportive of all of you. And I will continue to do that. So, happy Thanksgiving. To you. Over there.
Jose?
So first off, yeah, definitely with COVID, this changing our perspective even this week. We won't see how it goes in a couple weeks, but as a community, we continue to strive for the best and be as safe as possible. I do say even for Thanksgiving, find what best works for your family in a safe manner. And we do have the interchange. I know Councilwoman Moorhead mentioned about the interchange, so that's coming up, and that's exciting, first in California. So amidst of other things, there's a lot of positive things that we're doing and creating in our city. Thank you, Mayor.
David.
So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I wanted to thank council for asking the request. I was going to bring it up now, but Mr. Machado's request for food trucks. So thank you for doing that. Debbie, it's been an honor. Working with you. I'll say it again in 2 weeks, but it's been an honor. And you've always been a friend to the fire service. So thank you.
Oh, definitely.
That's it.
Okay. Well, before I bring mine up, thank you also for Thanksgiving, and I hope your families get together and you don't exceed the numbers and you all have masks and you can remove your mask to eat, but you have to put it back on. Okay? So we don't want to see you chewing. Yeah, I'm also, well, they're all gone except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 6, 7. Bless you. Yeah, we, the last couple of years have gone through quite a change here at City Hall and the community. And I appreciate all the work that all staff are doing. It's a major thing when you change, and I think it's progressing well. There are bumps along the road, but we deal with that and we move on. Bless you again. The one item I want to bring up is I'd like to be placed, this item to be placed on the next agenda. And it's a discussion about establishing a moratorium on subdivision maps, and we can discuss the number of years or the time limit, but I feel that with a 10-year, almost 11-year supply of lots, approved lots in this community, this would be an opportune time to reset the community when it comes to a number of things like the growth management ordinance, the development fees, the PFIP, the development standards. And we need to determine, I don't know if anybody's done this, I did speak with Leanne, but we need to determine where we are with sewer capacity in the plant. That's probably the most important issue in this community. I can remember back in the 80s, waking up one morning and somebody determining we were at capacity, and we went into a moratorium for 3 years. There were no permits issued for 3 years because somebody along the line forgot to keep track of the sewer. So that's important. So anyway, I would like that placed on the agenda so the council can discuss the issue and come to some conclusion on it.
So it's just a discussion, and you would like sewer capacity to be a portion of that discussion?
No, what I'd like, well, you know what? Let's make the sewer discussion a separate